I'm going to jump way ahead, of course. I do want to say one thing that I thought was kind of funny. I don't know if you guys caught it. We had at the Q2 Tesla earnings call, right? Elon Musk said something really funny. It's been cracking me up forever. He's been saying, moats are lame. Did you guys catch that? He said, moats are lame. What matters is the pace of innovation, right? Oh, my slides aren't even up there. Anyway.
Yeah, we wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Cool. There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Computer science degree. I can't operate PowerPoint. All right, perfect. Anyway, I thought that was pretty great. I wanted to get that one in there because that was cracking me up. Okay, so I'm just going to jump way ahead here and get one slide in. Harvard Business Review actually, oh, jeez, man. Sorry, guys. I'm changing my order here quite a bit. Okay, so Harvard Business Review had a story, and I'll send this to you guys later. And they surveyed all the people running innovation programs. And they found that only 10% were actually running transformative innovation. But we asked you guys, IdeaScale, and it's actually a lot higher, 28%. So you guys are pretty badass. I'm very proud of that. Okay, so I'm going to jump ahead here a little bit more since I know we're short on time. We have been working pretty hard on our API over the last couple of years. We've been starting to get a little concerned that our platform is becoming a little bit too monolithic. In other words, we were relying too much on internal knowledge. We understood that, like, oh yeah, I know Bob has a function here, I'll just go change it. He won't mind, and I won't tell him, and everyone will find out about it later. Don't worry, it's fine, and there's no documentation. About a year ago, we decided to adopt API-driven development. And it's actually a pretty important change for a lot of development teams. And one of the interesting ways to think about it is that we're doing API development internally. So a lot of people think, oh yeah, we have an app, but then there's this API, and we'll send you the documentation and go figure it out on your own. We actually have written applications ourselves that only access the API, and we've documented it for ourselves. And that's kind of a big deal because engineers are pretty lazy and they don't like to document anything. So really quickly, what is an API? Does everybody know? Rough idea? They've probably heard it. Yeah. The quick definition is my favorite. A lot of food discussions here in the whole event. So an API is kind of like you're at a restaurant and you sit down to order, and we give you the API docs. And you look through the API documentation, and you're like, I'm really thirsty. I'm going to run the order beer function, right? So the API is the waiter or waitress. They bring the message to the kitchen. Kitchen grabs a beer, brings it back, you drink it, and the order beer function is complete, right? So we've been ordering a lot of beer, writing a lot of API documentation. And a little piece of history, actually, this is the Jeff Bezos mandate. Have you guys heard of this? Anyone heard of this? Yeah. Yes? All right, cool. At least somebody has. I won't read the whole thing, but Jeff Bezos just came into work one day and said, you know what? Everyone in the company has to work via an API. And you might read that and you think, or you might hear that and think, oh, okay, well, they're software developers. They all have to write APIs. That's cool. They actually did this for every department, every team, even if you weren't a software developer. If you just had a process in the company, you had to get a software developer and write an API for it. And if people wanted to ask you to do something, they had to call the API. And there was an SLA for it, and there was documentation. The thing that I love about this is this was written in 2001. Isn't that amazing? And he is now, I think, the richest person on the planet, so he's probably made a good decision there. We actually say this a lot, and I am really proud that we came up with this on our own. And that's what API-driven development is about, right? It's about communicating to everybody how your code works, right? You're welcome to dance like no one's looking. That's fine. But get out there and code like someone's going to read your code. And obviously that happens a lot in open source development, but internally, not so much. So we're really pushing that pretty hard at IdeaScale. So I'm going to jump pretty far ahead so we can make drinks. So we're going to show you a couple quick things that we've done using our API. You might not know this, in iOS, you can actually open your camera and just hover over a QR code.
And Android.
Okay, I wasn't sure how to do it in Android. You can, it's the same thing. Okay, cool. We couldn't get it to work in one version. But anyway, this is a pretty cool one. This question came up, I think, in a couple presentations. You can try it out if you want. You can text hi to that number, and it'll collect your idea for you. It's pretty cool. And in this case, we implemented an integration with a platform called Zapier. Took it to the next level. Zapier is kind of cool because it lets you actually build integrations with APIs without having to write any code. It's just point and click. It's very cool. So we built a couple different proofs of concept. This is, again, of course, one we did with SMS. But if you have any weird integration, I shouldn't say weird, I'm sure it's great. It's just something interesting that you'd like to try, please let us know, and we could probably put together a proof of concept with Zapier. Was there another one that we did? I'm trying to think. We've done a few.
SMS, you could do, in theory, I mean, there's like Twitter, Salesforce.
Right. I'm trying to think what we've actually done. But yeah, anyway. So is that working for people? People trying it, they're submitting ideas. Awesome. Okay, really quickly, the next one we did, and this one was a lot harder, and this is in the early days. When we got into this API-driven development, we said, let's like rip out the UI layer and make it a separate app and use our own API to run something. So we adopted the Angular JavaScript platform, and we built a moderation application. And is that working? Oh, that's right. Hold on. Let's see if we can get this working. There we go. Right. And again, I'll go pretty quick here, but some of you might have already seen this app. You guys tried it or seen it at all? So I think, yeah, looks like there's some ideas coming in there. Yeah. So again, we built this app for moderators. It's going to be available actually next week. And if you want a demo from me, I'm happy to give it to you. You can just give me a call. And we can turn it on for your community now if you want to, but we'll make it default next week. It's basically the idea is we're, like all you awesome moderators, we're trying to give you one place to go where you can just do everything. Just totally moderate your community. I'm a huge fan of keyboard shortcuts. Who else likes keyboard shortcuts? Awesome. So we're going to bring keyboard shortcuts to this, and we'll give you a little like menu, and you can learn all the keyboard shortcuts like in Slack. So that is the moderation panel. And then there's a couple things we're adding really quickly. We're going to allow you to link ideas instead of merge ideas. We're pretty excited about that. We're going to do a lot of work with natural language processing in the next couple months. To improve searching ideas and providing those links for you. And then we're going to do a portfolio tool, which is coming in the winter. So that's that. Again, completely using our API. So we're pretty excited about that. All right, and then we do have one more thing. We ran an experiment this summer with our interns, because that's what you do with interns. You experiment on them, right? Oh, sorry. I don't know why that's showing there.
That's good.
There. We had Stacy Chang and Alex Wolf from University of San Diego, or University of California, San Diego. And the experiment was this. I wanted to build a Slack application, because I really like Slack. But I wanted to do it without them seeing our source code. Like, just here's the API documentation, go. Just build it. Don't call me. He did call every now and then. So I'm going to bring Alex up, and this is kind of the culmination of his work over the summer. Alex is a bit young, so he doesn't buy any music. So his preferred streaming program is Spotify. All right. Oh, and by the way, this is my favorite thing about Slack. The name Slack, right? It actually stands for Searchable Log of Communication and Knowledge. That's one of the reasons why we're really interested in Slack integration, right? Because we want to push ideas in and out through a searchable log, right? So, Alex, you want to take it away?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Here, I'll flip you over to Slack, right? Is that up there? Oh, you know what you have to do? Sorry, hold on.
Ooh.
It's weird. It didn't happen. This didn't happen in practice. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, let me just switch this over. A short side note. Although I've never actually purchased a full album, let alone in CD, the first album I ever received was Battleborn by The Killers.
Oh, I like that.
Well, on that note, time to begin. So when Rob approached, and when me and Rob, I guess, and a lot of the IdeaScale members were trying to decide what to build, I guess, for this internship project, the idea of having it focused on an API was always one of the core functions. And while, A, that makes it so I don't have to learn the code base and obtain it, it also helps the modularization of our code, which, as he explained, kind of fulfills a dual purpose and makes it so much easier, especially as a summer intern that doesn't want to spend the entire summer learning all of IdeaScale with really not as much time to show and build and make fun new features.
Right.
Now onto that, I'd like to demo off our fun Slack app. Installation is really quick and easy. You just download it from the Slack app directory, just like you'd almost download a phone app. And then you enter a simple command, /IdeaScale setup, and then you just enter your URL. Setup successful. Then each user can just obtain a nifty little link to log in via OAuth. I don't know how to get back here, so I'm going to leave that. But that's all the sign up that's necessary. Then with that sign up, each user can access a good myriad of functions, the most fun of which is that you can create an idea right from Slack. You can either do this just with a / command, or we created a nifty little Slack action so you can take a pre-existing message. I did not spell it right.
That's all right.
Good enough. And through this button, it will pre-fill the title and description fields of your idea with the contents of the message. So you can just start on it right away from an existing discussion. One of the wonderful things about the the IdeaScale API is that it handles almost all of the permissions for you. So automatically, when you're creating an idea, you can only access the campaigns and ideas that you really should have access to. Like this one. When it pulls up, you can see that it pre-filled, as I said. But we also made this function to completely support your custom fields so that the more diehard users of IdeaScale can still utilize this function and get all the fun little features and fun and useful features that make IdeaScale great. When you're done creating this idea, it gives you a nifty little link so that you can change it or view it, or more normally, you just share it with your team members so that everyone can start commenting and voting on it and get it right into action. For the moderators, we also have a functionalities for them. First off, you can approve and deny and delay both idea requests and member requests right in the application. The idea behind this is that one of your team members can ping you up and let you know that they're just joining your IdeaScale community, or that they just created a new idea and they need you to look it over. And you can just quickly enter a command, and it will pop up right there. You can approve it, you can deny it. We can approve this guy, just for example. Or you can just save it for later, just so you can get on to the next one at least. This same functionality exists with ideas, except this also supports all your custom fields and a lot more information, like the title, description, and whatever else you need, really. Just the same, you can approve it and deny it right then and there, and then share it with your team members so that they can get right back to working and right to making these ideas real. The penultimate functionality is I heard the suggestion about the hot ideas function of the API in an earlier question, and I just thought that was fun because we have a subscription that you can sign up to. Oh, yep, spell it correctly. Each user can sign up, and they can choose a time to be notified every day, Monday through Friday, in their time zone. And then it will shoot them a list of the top 3 hot ideas at the moment so that you can keep up to tabs on your IdeaScale community without having to access it as much or actually log into the site. If you don't want to wait for this, you can just enter a simple command, and those top 3 ideas will pop up right away for you. In the spirit of the API, everything is trimmed automatically and conveniently so that each user can only access what they should, permissions-wise. Lastly, there is the necessary help function, so you can see all the different functionalities and how to use them, as well as a help functionality for each a help message for each functionality so that you can learn how to use it and how it can be helpful to you. Lastly, for the CEO on the go, or more realistically, the moderator on the go, all these functions work perfectly well from your Slack app on your phone, so you can create ideas nice and conveniently without even being at your computer.
And you can also get help on each function individually, right? Yeah.
So you could /IdeaScale help, and then you just put in the name of the function, and it will give you a usage statement and a short description. Do we have time for questions?
I have a question.
Sure thing.
When will it be out, Alex? When
Wow.
can everybody use it?
That's a great question, Rob. Right now, most of the core, well, all of the core features are complete.
Yep.
We basically just have to deploy it and put the finalizing touches on. We're going for a November release.
Yeah, great. Does anybody use Slack?
Yep.
Okay, how about Microsoft Teams? Anybody on Teams? Yeah. Okay, cool. That's our plan, is to either use him or some other intern and do Teams as well. Sorry, there were some questions. Can we do just a couple? Is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
Great job presenting, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, way to go. That is super exciting. Do you have a similar model coming out for Yammer?
Yeah. Oh, no, I can answer that. Yeah, we do have a Yammer app, and I think Yammer's been updated quite a bit, so I think we need to revisit it actually. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of functions. I mean, this is a little different because these are, in Slack you can actually do moderation command, and that's actually one thing I forgot to mention is our. Oh, thank you. Our persona was mostly for moderation. For the Slack application. So our thought was, let's make moderators happy first. I think the next thing to think about would be community members. So anyway.
You mentioned that you're going to be working with Microsoft Teams.
Yep.
Office 365 interfaces, would we be able to actually merge those together on the same page?
You mean using Microsoft Teams?
Right.
Yeah, I think so. We should be able to. Yeah, we'll talk.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Questions? Eric?
So everyone in this room has some hodgepodge login. Like everyone probably has a different login
Sure.
scheme. Like how is this going to work with everyone's single sign-on, Active Directory, email? Like
Don't you work at IdeaScale? Hold on. I'm just kidding. No, that's a great question. And that can be tricky. But actually, do you want to answer it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of our login right now is as well through OAuth. So IdeaScale should handle that just as you should. I'll show you it actually for real now that I don't need to get back to this. But it provides you with a link, and then you can just enter your information right then and there and log in through the normal IdeaScale methods.
So you've already single sign-oned in, and then you get.
whatever method you're already
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the beauty of OAuth, actually. So, good question, actually.
Any questions? Tim?
I have a question
Thanks, Tim.
Hi, I have a question for Alex. When are you hired?
That was nice.
Or is that a question for Rob?
You got another year. You got another year of school, right?
I have one more year of school left, but after that, I'll start looking for jobs.
All right. Awesome. That was a good question.
I'll create an idea for that.
All right. Well,
Tuition reimbursement